Good morning, Hampton Roads. How's everybody doing today? And welcome to Virginia's only local real estate investing podcast, where we get to talk about local investors, local deals, and all things local. I'm your host, the founder of the Master Investor Academy, and author of my best-selling book, Work Just Gets in the Way of Making Money, Scott Jelinek. If you have not done so already, go ahead and subscribe to this channel and leave me a rating and review. It helps me to get the message out to more people, so greatly appreciate it. Or if you know somebody who may benefit from the information that we share here, go ahead and share it with them. And the more people we can get on here, the better, the more impact that we'll have. You can text me 757-699-4227 if you have a property you'd like to sell, or a question or something you want to discuss right here on the podcast. Go ahead and text me. We've gotten several of them already, and it actually helps the show to evolve if you let us know what you'd like to talk about, so don't hesitate to do it. Today, I really wanted to talk to you guys about where we find SlowFlips from, because this is a question that we get over and over again. I'm advertising and I don't have any SlowFlips and I need SlowFlips. And so there is no one answer, so we're going to go over a bunch of different answers for you. So if you have not found them yet, or if you're looking to buy more, there's multiple different facets of ways to get them. So this got sparked from an email from one of my guys who's out in California named Zach, but he's marketing in my area. And so he sent me an email. And so I'm not going to read you the whole email, but the gist of it was, I did a direct mail campaign. Most of the people who called were either tenants or not interested in selling. And so that was a great email, and I haven't actually emailed back. So Zach, I'm going to send you a copy of this as soon as I'm done with it, because this will be your email response. So anyway, so he's right. That happens a lot. So we're gonna get into a bunch of the different strategies, why they are what they are, and what happens. So today's actually Saturday, the 2nd, and so I did not do a podcast yesterday. So I wanted to make sure to tell you guys Happy New Year. This is 2021. Looking forward to an absolutely fantastic 2021. We're going to start it off with a bang. And so I think I told you already, I did Great Wolf Lodge for New Year's Eve. It wasn't like it's been in the past where they did a bunch of events, but, because of all this Rona stuff going around. But nevertheless, we still had a great time, had some friends come in. And so we had a party in the room, did the best we can. So before we get into finding your SlowFlips and all the different avenues, I also wanted to take a second on just this morning. I heard, Andrew, you got another wholesale deal, which you just assigned. I believe it's a $21,000 assignment fee. So congratulations on that. I wanted to make sure to congratulate you. And then also, this is something that doesn't happen very often, but I think it was on Friday or Thursday, we got a message from Joey and Juliana had a SlowFlip close. And now what that means, we haven't discussed SlowFlips on this show yet, but for those of you who know my stuff and know what we're talking about, that means they bought a house. If they use our numbers, you bought it for 30 grand and sold it as is for 89. And their numbers may have varied a little bit. And then the person they sold it to, sometimes they're investors who keep them as rentals. Sometimes they move into the property. This particular person actually renovated the property and then listed it for sale and actually got it sold. So they got paid off on a SlowFlip, and they walked away with a check for $26,000. So this is almost like doing a rehab, which was so awesome because they did nothing. So they bought the house with no money, I believe, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, Joey, Juliana, if you're watching. I believe they paid $22,000 for it. So at closing, they probably walked away with about $5 grand because we always use $30,000 loans. We'll talk about that another time. Anyway, then they probably sold it for 60, 70. I don't know how much. I'm guessing those numbers based on the size of the check they got. And then the guy who bought it put the money, his own money, renovated it. While he was doing it, was making a monthly payment to them. So they were $0 out of pocket and $0 for ongoing expenses. Then he sold it. And at closing, they gave him a payoff amount of whatever his balance was. And then he got to keep the difference. So it was a win for the investor. He got to buy it without using hard money or without having to come up with the cash. They got to sell it without doing anything to it, and they walked away with a check for $26,000. So two things I want to touch on with that. One is sometimes people are like, well, I want to do more of that. That sounds awesome. Somebody even commented on their Facebook post with it. Oh, I didn't know we can do that. Well, the reality is you can't do it. We're not the ones doing it. We're doing our regular business, which is selling a SlowFlip through the SlowFlip method. However, the buyer can do that. He can keep it as a rental. He can renovate it and sell it. He can move into it. It's his house. So although they didn't actually do it, they made the check. The buyer of the slow flip is the one who did it. So I just wanted to share that with you for those of you who are wondering. The second thing is a mindset shift. Sometimes people actually don't want them to do it. And somebody even, actually it was on their post. They said our 13th, they bought 13 last year. They said our 13th slow flip is gone. We're down to 12. They're happy about it. But sometimes people aren't happy. They're like, well, I don't want to lose my slow flips. You're not losing them. You got to think about it from this perspective. You're buying it wholesale and you're selling it retail, but you're not doing anything. The work is being done by somebody else. So anytime you get an opportunity to do that, by all means, you do it. So now they got that check for $26,000. Now what could they do with it? Go buy another one. Only now they don't have that 5-year mortgage. They're free and clear from day one. So I know that's not what we're discussing today, but it just happened. So I wanted to point it out and tell everybody about it. So anyway, so let's get back to where do we find our slow flips from? So the first and foremost is going to be direct mail. Now, direct mail, we don't specifically market for slow flips. We market for all of our deals. Some of them are wholesale deals. Some we might, if you were into rehabbing, you might end up rehabbing, and some will fall into the category of slow flips. However, something you need to understand about slow flips is, or not about slow flips, but about direct mail in general. Most people do not want to sell their house. That's a fact. Most people, you're living in your house right now, you don't want to sell. Not only that, but most people don't want to sell their house, and most people who do want to sell their house don't want to sell at the numbers we buy for, right? So you need to always be remembering that. You send to 1,000 people or 100,000 people, most of them don't want to sell at all. And then of the people who do want to sell, most of them don't want the numbers that we're going to offer. This is a numbers game and a people business. You're going to get all kinds of calls. A lot of them are just going to be angry calls saying, take me off your list. I would never sell to you guys. And yes, that's part of the business. And then once you get a motivated seller, you'll see the difference and you'll understand. Once you get somebody who doesn't want to sell, but needs to sell, needs you to come and make an offer and buy their house, that's when everything will change for you. And so Zach, I know you sent me that question. I wanted to tell you, yes, it's a numbers game. And you also said some of the people who are calling were actually renters. That happens too. It depends on where, because there's no detective on them. We only know where the tax bill goes, or the list companies only know where the tax bill goes. So if in fact that person isn't getting the tax bill mailed to their mailing address, it's going to go to the property address. If you get a tenant, and this happens for all direct mail, not just for slow flips, if you get a tenant, it's not dead. There's two different things that can happen. One is you can ask them, would you mind giving me your landlord's information? So you can still possibly work a deal with it. The second thing, and this is not just with a tenant, but anybody who calls you, even if they're saying to take me off the list, is to let them know that you pay a referral fee. And if they happen to know anybody interested in selling their property, I would give you $1,000, $500, whatever number you want to say. We've started doing $1,000 now. If you give me a referral, that leads into a house we end up buying. So we have bought houses even from door knocking, going pre-foreclosures. We get there and it's a tenant, and the tenant doesn't want to give us any information because they're like, no, I don't want to lose my house. But through conversation, they're like, but I know that guy across the street, he desperately needs to get out of it. They'll give you his information. And we've actually done deals like that where we bought a house we had no knowledge of from a tenant who told us about the other property. So remember, this is a numbers game and a people business. The more you're out there, the more people you're communicating with, the more conversations you have, the more deals you're going to get. It's not just as simple as you sent a mailing and you should be getting deals today. Now, sometimes that happens, but that's the exception and not the rule. Sometimes you just mail out. I remember Alex's first deal. Alex mailed out $500 worth on a mailing and got a $15,000 wholesale deal. That happens. Sometimes you can spend $5,000 on a mailing and get nothing. Now, not to say it's nothing. Most of our deals come through follow-up, so you might get nothing this month, but 3 months from now, you may get a deal from this month's marketing. So I hope that helps clarify a little bit on direct mail. But let's talk about where else you can find slow flips from. So a second place where you can find slow flips is through the MLS, the multiple listing service. And you guys know, normally I call the MLS the misleading lead service. And the reason is, now again, I have bought tons of deals off the MLS, but it goes through market cycles. And right now where we are in the market, there's not a lot of deals on MLS because everybody's on and every house, is selling so fast now. Not to say you can't get them, and some rehabbers can. Wholesaling is really challenging right now. But slow flips, often you can still buy slow flips right off the MLS. And that's because, again, I always joke about slow flips and say they're in real estate purgatory. Nobody wants them. The rehabbers don't want them because there's very little retail sales out there. Some rehabbers, some areas you can still do them, but most of the areas, the rehabbers don't want them, and most landlords don't want them. Excuse me, because they're the highest, they're lower dollar amount. Our average rent on those is $875, so they're lower dollar amount, and you're in lesser neighborhoods where you're going to have higher turnover, higher repair costs, and that sort of stuff. Now, we don't care because we're just the bank, but if you were a regular landlord, you may not want to be in those areas. And the trick with these areas is most of the time, banks won't fund them because they're below the minimum threshold. I don't know how it is today, but I remember when I was using banks, they had a $50,000 minimum mortgage. Well, we're buying these houses for 30, sometimes 20, 25, 18. The banks won't do a mortgage for that amount. And so they're kind of in limbo. Those houses get stuck. So a lot of times you will see them right on MLS, where you can make relationships. You can look on MLS with agents and buy them right off of MLS. I still buy SlowFlips off MLS. I think last year I only bought 2 off the MLS, but 2 is 2. You use all these different lead sources and you will get them. All right, another place for you to find SlowFlip deals, and this one seems blatantly obvious. It's screaming at you. It's right there and it's free, is Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. Now, Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, it changes all day long. It's readily available to you. It's sitting there and it's free. So how would you do that? You basically are just scrolling. You're going through real estate for sale and you're scrolling, more or less. If you're in your area that you're looking at the prices. And if you can find something in the price range you're looking for, start the communication, even if it's close, because you still have room to negotiate. So just recently, and this is, when I say recently, I'm talking 3 weeks ago, I got a deal off of Facebook Marketplace and I wasn't looking. I was only on there because one of my coaching clients had just listed their house for sale, which, by the way, they filled yesterday. Congratulations, April. So they listed their house for sale and I was trying to find their ad. And while I was looking for their ad, I found another house and I was like, whoa, $30,000. It was a duplex actually. And I was like, man, so I sent the guy a message. We went back and forth. I ended up going to see it and got a deal off of Facebook Marketplace, another SlowFlip. So the point I was going with is they're out there now, but you have to, nobody's calling you. You have to actively do it. And it changes all day and throughout the day. So when you have spare time, you can do it right on your phone. If you're outside the area like you are, Zach, you can type in our area here in Virginia Beach, Hampton Roads, and then you just scroll the houses for sale if this is the market you're looking in, or if you're looking in any market in the country. And you can do the same thing with Craigslist. You can go on Craigslist and Craigslist will let you type in the state you want and then get down to the city, the area, and do the same thing and just look through the real estate for sale. Now, one other part of it is sometimes there's what we call scam ads or they're ghost ads. And I just dealt with one like 2 or 3 days ago when I saw a house. It was in Norfolk and I was like, oh, that is I don't even have to see it. I will buy it. And then I sent her a message and she immediately responded, oh, that house is gone, but here, sign up on my investor list. And I'll tell you when I get more. So I know instantly that was a scam. She never had that house. It was a way of generating and building a buyer's list. And people do that all the time. And I'm not mad at it. You get mad because you get excited about the house. However, I'm not mad because I want to be on more buyer's lists. So that brings us to the next and the last thing we're going to talk about. So don't negate Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. I have guys that have bought 10 and 12 properties in a year just from Facebook Marketplace. So it works. It works if you do. You have to be on there. You have to be active and you kind of constantly be looking and then communicate with them, and speed wins, because again, they're looking to sell. So first person who comes through and does the deal, speed wins. I also like Facebook better than Craigslist because on Facebook, you can actually click on the person and see who they are. So, you're not just dealing with a ghost ad, you can click and see the person. So Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, and then the last and very, very relevant place where you can find wholesale deals, SlowFlip deals and wholesale deals is getting on everybody else's list. And so what I mean by that is, we wholesale, and so we have a list. I have like 2,500 names on my list, but I really sell to probably 20, 25 people because I sell to my guys over and over again. But some people don't do it that way. Most people don't. They just blast to the whole world. And I have my reasons for not doing that. We'll talk about that at another time. But most people just blast out to everybody. They make an email and they send it to 10,000 people. Well, you want to be on as many of those lists as possible. And I'm on so many. So every day I'm getting emails from all kinds of investors, and 99% of them are garbage. I look at them and I'm like, there's no way they're ever going to sell this house. They're asking full retail or whatever. That's 99% of the time. Again, this is free. Sometimes you look at it and you're like, wow, that's a deal. I'll take that one. And so you pick up the phone right away, call them, set an appointment, and lock it up. So how do you get on everyone else's lists? You call, or some of them do it through email, but you can call. So when you see, let's go to Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. When you see deals on there, even that don't meet your criteria, but you see they're put out through wholesalers, contact them and say, this 123 Main Street doesn't work for me. However, I'm looking for X. Could you put me on your list and send me your deals as you get them? Most investors already have lists. You can go right online and type in, sell my house fast, Virginia Beach, or sell my house, Norfolk. And then you're going to see a bunch of websites come up. Call them all. Those are your competitors, but they're also possibly a seller of properties to you. Call them all and get on their buyer's list. And you want them on your buyer's list. You want them on your buyer's list. You on their buyer's list. So when they get deals, it may not work for them, but it may work for you. Not everybody wants slow flips. A lot of people hate the idea of them. So that's an opportunity for you. So you let them know what you're looking for, and you want to be on their buyer's list. I hope that makes sense to you. We want to be on as many lists as you can possibly get on. This is a numbers game. Remember what we were saying? It's a numbers game and a people business. Most people don't want to sell. So these are going to be people that already, when you're on an investor's list, they already have a contract on the property. Your job then is strictly just to say yes. So I hope that helps. There's multiple different ways that we get wholesale or slow flips. And these are just a couple of them. These are the main ones where we buy slow flips from. And also another thing I wanted to make sure to touch on, it's not something you do one day or one time. This is a constant process. This is like the Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. This is something you do every day. And sometimes you can do it multiple times throughout the day. Getting on people's investor list, that's something you never stop doing. If you see a We Buy House sign, see it magnets on a car, you're online and you see it, you see a Facebook ad, contact them and get on their buyer's list. There's no amount of lists that says, oh, you're on too many lists now. All right. So I hope that makes sense to you, and I hope that helps. You want to be on as many lists as possible. If you have any questions with that, by all means, go ahead and contact me, and I would love to help you out with it or see what it is that I can get done for you to start buying some more slow flips. I have 115 or 116 now, and I change my goals every year, and I wanted to get to 167, and I was getting close, and now I think I'm just going to push through, and let's make it 200 is our goal right now. I don't know how many I'm going to buy this year. What I want to do is I want to buy packages from people that have 10 or 20 or 30, older people that might be over it. And we're going to talk about that another time. But right now we're going into a part of our market cycle where we're probably going to have people that just want to sell off their portfolio because of all the headaches they're dealing with because of this Corona stuff. And especially these older guys been doing this 40, 50 years. And now all of a sudden everything they know doesn't apply. The normal eviction process, the normal time it takes, everything doesn't apply anymore. And so there's a lot of people that are probably going to want to get out of portfolios. But again, we'll talk about that at another time. Hope this guy helps you guys. If you have not done so already, go ahead and subscribe to this channel, and I will give you more content as soon as we can. Also, text me any questions you have, comments, concerns, anything that you want to discuss right here on the podcast. And I would love to go over it, share it. If you know anybody who might benefit from this information, you can text me at 757-699-4227. I think I told you guys already, but I am having a small event at the end of this month, January 30th and 31st. It's only going to be for about 10 people. So if in fact you are interested in finding out more information about it, just go ahead and text me as well, and I will send you a link and get you signed up. Have a fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Do something today that your future self is going to thank you for. Have a great day. Thank you for watching.